this is the fourth time I've tried to film this video. Probably if I was going to pick my number one favorite of March, this is it. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name's Ariana. I am a cozy lifestyle creator. I share all my favorite hobbies, products, habits that help me create balance in my life. And today's video is going to be all about my March favorites. And I actually originally filmed this for my vlog, but I didn't love how the footage turned out. So we're gonna do that again. And we're gonna go over all of my favorites for the month of March. I have everything in this video from like a habit I've been consistently doing in March to like my favorite products. We have makeup, skincare, tech, and then a lot of like TV shows, podcasts, audiobooks, because I have just been trying to find every which way to entertain myself and distract myself in this crazy world. I want to talk about the habit that I got the most consistent with in the month of March, but it's actually something I've been doing, I want to say, for maybe the last 2 years, and that's juicing. So I used to go grocery shopping every week and buy a bunch of those Suja green juices because I felt like they were a good way to get more vitamins in my system because I wasn't eating a lot of vegetables. You know, like classic, you think a green juice is just gonna save your life, fix you. That's not 100% true, but they are a good way to add more nutrients and vitamins in your diet. A little supplement, a little nice supplement to the diet. So I've been making my own green juice because those juices just got so expensive at the regular grocery store. But I never had a juicer until like late last year. So I would blend all of my fruits and vegetables in a blender, but it would just be this very like pulpy, fibrous liquid. I asked for a juicer for Christmas and it has been my favorite little thing. So I make my own green juice. Like I said, I do apples, celery, cucumbers, and then a little ginger and lemon. The more fruit you put into it, like the ratio you put really determines the taste. So the more fruit you put into it, the sweeter the green juice is. Even adding a little lemon, I think, makes the juice sweeter. Too much lemon and too much green apple, I've learned, makes it a little bit more sour. So you can balance out the flavors like however you want, but that's just my go-to green juice recipe. I haven't really strayed and I haven't really tried anything else. And honestly, if anything, I think it just helps me feel more energized and a little bit more full in the afternoon after my lunch, because I usually take it to work. And then in addition to my green juice, I also make my own ginger shots. And I initially started doing this because I was having I've always had a sensitive stomach. I've always had tummy issues. I've always had digestive issues. It's always just been hard for me. So I thought, okay, a ginger shot would probably help with my digestion, like with feeling nauseous, feeling sick, because I would usually put ginger in my tea when I feel sick anyways. So it took me a while to crack the right recipe for this, but it's a recipe I saw on Instagram from another creator. And what she does is she just juiced the ginger root, and then she added pineapple juice just out of the bottle, and then coconut water to dilute it more. And honestly, it's the best recipe, I think, for ginger juice, because I don't want turmeric or cayenne or anything, even though there's like a lot of health benefits to that, I'm sure. I used to do ginger, honey, lemon. Getting the ratios right for that so you don't have a really strong juice shot is really difficult. And it's a weekly habit of mine because I have a small juicer and I can only make mostly up to like a week's amount of juice. Do the ginger shot first thing in the morning because I read online that it was better absorption in the tummy if it's like an empty stomach. Okay, so that is the habit that I've gotten most consistent with in March. Let's talk about books because I love books. I don't think you understand. Ever since I was a kid, actually, I've loved books. And I'm just really happy that I get to foster that passion as an adult. I read 2 books in March, Blood Marked and The Dragon Republic. Blood Marked by Tracy Dion and The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. And they are both the second book in a series. So Blood Marked is the second book in the Legendborn series. And I believe it's a YA fantasy series, technically. But the lore is basically that we have a bunch of teenagers, young adults in college, and they are part of this family line that's descended from Arthur and his round table, the knights. So they're descended from Arthur and the knights, and Arthur and the knights back in the day basically set a spell that their spirit will keep being reborn, you know, down their family line to continue fighting monsters and demons and things like that. So they're a bunch of teenagers who have these really like strong spirits and abilities, you know, from being descended from this line. The main character though is a 16-year-old black girl, and she is navigating an extremely white space because those families that descended from Arthur and his knights basically found like a society, kind of culty, the way that it reads. But she finds out about the society, joins them. I can't talk anymore or I'm gonna spoil things. But it is a really good fantasy book. Honestly, a little YA, I think, is good for everyone. World building and the characters and the story and the idea of, you know, the magic in that universe. I love when a book just has like a great magic system. You only understand what I mean if you're a real nerd. I think that was a great book. And then the second book I read, The Dragon Republic, it's about war. I guess you could say it's fantasy too, because there is a little bit of magic in there. I would say it leans more towards Hunger Games, like those kind of similar themes of why are these children fighting wars. R.F. Kuang's one of my favorite authors, and it's part of the Poppy War series, which is a series she wrote a long time ago. I'm pretty sure these books are old, but I'm just getting around to reading the Poppy War series. And again, you have kind of this untraditional female main character, and she really just goes against the norms of her society because I think it's based on like either China or Japan, like back in the day, like historical China or Japan. And then she discovers she has these abilities, she goes through military training, fights a war with her friends, and so on and so forth. The second book I would say is a little bit darker than the first book. The first book was called Poppy War, and the first book was pretty dark. So it's not like a feel-good story, but I would say it's a great story. Like a epic tale, along the lines of an epic tale maybe. You have like I think a really flawed female character who, you know, doesn't always make the right choices. So she's either incredibly relatable or a little crazy, maybe a little bit of both. I would say you've got to read it to find out, because I don't want to spoil anything. I can't keep talking about books without spoiling anything. Those are the two books I read. And then while we're on the topic of books, let's go on to audiobooks. I recently listened to Throne of Glass, narrated by Elizabeth Evans. Another old, I don't know if a classic is the right word, but a really highly popular recommendation. And they're free on Spotify now, which I love that it's so accessible. But recently listened to Throne of Glass, and they have all of the Elizabeth Evans narrations on Spotify. I've read all of Throne of Glass. I've not listened to the narration, and my friends keep saying that the narrations by her are incredible. So I listened to Throne of Glass, and you know, if you know the world, and if you just want like a solid fantasy story where you have romance, you have fae, you have dragons, you have evil people and war and a prince and a king, it's got all the elements of a fantasy story. So if you haven't read it, I recommend it. If you want to listen to it, it's on Spotify. And you just can't beat it. You can't beat that world sometimes and those characters, because who doesn't love Selena, right? I'm still listening, but I'm almost done with Manifest. It's a book all about manifestation. It's literally called Manifest, I think 7 Steps to Creating Your Best Life or something like that, by Roxy Nafusi. And she also has a podcast, Rise with Roxy, but we'll get into that later. But it's a really good like self-help book, and I have trouble with self-help books reading them, so I'll opt to listen to it because it's more like a podcast if I listen to it. That is also on Spotify Premium. I love it. I think it's helped me really like think about what I want to put my time and energy into, and what I want to focus on and what I want to manifest in my life. And I think sometimes I just need a little push to like recenter my priorities, because you get out of whack sometimes. And I think that book, I listen to it in the morning when I get ready, and I will just take it all in, take in her advice, apply her advice. I think she does it in a way that's not too preachy, which sometimes self-help books can be. So I would recommend Manifest, Roxy Nafusi. We talked a little bit about podcasts. Now that we're on, it seemed like a good transition here to go from audiobooks to podcasts. Rise with Roxy, her episode with Jay Shetty. I think if you're a Jay Shetty fan, if you've read like Think Like a Monk, which I actually really like that book for it's a self-help book, whatever. But Jay Shetty, I'm a fan of his. Jay Shetty, Master Your Mind, Find Your Purpose, and Rise Above the Negativity. I just think this is good advice for literally anyone. I think it's very generally applicable to anyone who's going through something, right? And I think Jay Shetty in general provides like pretty good life perspective and advice. So his episode with Rise with Roxy, I think, was really, really good, really thoughtful, really insightful. I think if you just, again, need a little like push, a little zhuzh in your life when you're feeling a little unsure or lost, that's a good episode to listen to. And then my favorite podcast that I just listen to religiously is Full Coverage, and that's FOOL, Full Coverage. It is not a podcast if you want to like be informed about the world or the news. It's actually on a lot of just like random pop culture, like viral TikTok things that is just so unserious and so funny. I mean, it's in the name. It's called Full Coverage. That it's just great distraction when you're working or you're doing something you just want to laugh or feel like you're hanging out with friends. Full Coverage is where it's at. It's hosted by two of my favorite YouTubers, Laura and Manny. I literally have been watching them for years. So them starting a podcast was incredible, and they make me laugh every single week, which who doesn't need to laugh in this economy? So Full Coverage, can't recommend enough. And then The Comment Section by Drew Afualo. I particularly love the episodes where she brings on drag race contestants, drag race winners, so all the drag queens basically. I love, because I'm a drag race fan and I'm a fan of her as well. She is so funny, so smart, so like quick-witted, and she has a book as well called Loud. Another really good self-help book. Really recommending a lot of self-help books for a girl who doesn't love self-help. I just think she's great at what she does, and she really has a way, I think, of helping me feel not alone, confident, empowered, and she's just really relatable to me. So I love Drew Afualo. I love The Comment Section, and those are podcasts that are regularly in my rotation. Maybe let's start with some tech, yeah? So I'm currently filming this on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, the creator combo. Super good value. I'll put a picture here, and I have been using it for all of my videos. And I had a Sony camera that I love, that I still want to use. I just haven't used it recently. It's just, it's so clunky sometimes. And when you want to go around, you don't want to shove a camera in someone's face. It feels weird, it feels uncomfortable, especially if you're new. So I got the Osmo, and I'm attached to it. It's my emotional support Osmo. I don't know. And let me take a video. If you laugh at this setup, you're rude, okay? Because sometimes this tissue box is the greatest tripod stand, because I didn't want to get my other tripod, and honestly the tissue box just does it. But she's just so cute and tiny, and one of the cool things I think about this video is that it comes with tracking. So here I am hello, walking around my room, and it's following me, and I think it's just so cool, right? It comes with a lot of other accessories. We have this mic here that I'm using right now, protective case, tripod, a little tripod stand that is on the camera right now, and also a wide angle lens. I have been using this for everything. It's great on the go, it's small, fits in even like a fanny pack if you just really want to be on the go. So it's my favorite. This is probably, if I was going to pick my number one favorite of March, this is it. This is it right here. Okay, if you take away nothing, it's just that I love this camera so much, so much. And also another tech find that I got this month. Hey Alexa, turn the lights blue. Okay. Alexa, turn the lights daylight. Okay. Okay. I got these Amazon lights. They were, I think, like $40 for a pack of 4, so $10 for a smart light bulb. And I don't love overhead light. I hate overhead light, like with a passion. So I was like, let me get some good lights, because I also live in the basement, so there's not much light down here anyway, and I need it. So we got some Amazon lights, and you could like set routines. You could do a bunch of stuff, like when you want to go to bed, when you want to wake up. You could do a lot if you have an Alexa. And if you don't have one, you could actually just use the app on the phone, because I can control the lights on my phone anyway. Those are my tech favorites of the month. There were 2 TV shows that I really loved in March. The first one is Paradise on Hulu. It is starring Sterling K. Brown and James Marsden, and honestly the story was just so good. It's kind of like an end of the world story, but it's like what happened after the end of the world. So society survives a nuclear fallout, and they're all living underground. Someone murders the president, and it's up to Sterling K. Brown to solve who did it. And they're all living in this underground bunker. Really good, really great characters, great cast, great story, great acting. Loved it. The second TV show that I watched in March that I loved is The Resident on Netflix. And it's a Shondaland show. Who doesn't love Shonda? I've watched almost all of her shows that she's ever made. So this one I think is based on an Agatha Christie book. So it's a classic whodunit, but the cast is incredible. It's really funny. It's good mystery, because I was kind of like, well, who did do it? Because this is getting really confusing. And it's on Netflix. So, you know, those are 2 shows that really kept me entertained in the month of March. So if you need a good show, don't know what to watch, and I didn't even recommend any reality shows, because I'm a big like Bravo queen, but just 2 really good TV shows. Paradise on Hulu, The Residence on Netflix. You've probably seen me use this in the blogs. It's the Beauty of Joseon Ground Rice and Honey Glow Mask. I use it once a week, and I have just been loving it. I feel both exfoliated and hydrated and glowy when I use this mask. I use like a silicone brush to apply it all over my face. I let it sit for like 30 minutes, usually on a Sunday, because that's like when I have time to let it sit. And I do it after I shave my face once a week. And I have very sensitive skin, very dry skin, so I've been loving the results. And then with my skincare, I feel like it just like keeps me glowy. You know, it looks glow. So I recommend that face mask. And then I got these eye patches. Can't pronounce the name. You've probably seen them again in my videos. I got them from a Korean beauty store, like a local Korean beauty store. And the lady who sold me to them, she had the most perfect skin. Not a blemish, not a wrinkle in sight, not a spot, not a pimple, nothing. So she was like, use these every night for 30 minutes. And I'm like, can't promise every night. Can't promise 30 minutes sometimes, but I usually am pretty consistent with it like every other day, or at least like 5 out of 7 days of the week I will use these eye masks. Sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night. And I love them. I feel like they're kind of like tightening the skin under my eye, but also like treating the dark spots, because I used to have really harsh dark under eyes. They've gotten better with all of the skincare I've gotten and taking care of them, but I've put a video here of me using them and I just love them. Yeah, so those are my two skincare favorites, the eye mask and the glow mask. And then with the makeup, I was in Ulta just moseying around after work, honestly. Probably shouldn't have been, but here we are. Stumbled across this brand called Polite Society. I think they're also a clean makeup brand, which is always great. Yes, so I got a blush and a bronzer from them, and I have been using this anytime I wear makeup pretty much in the whole month of March, and I love it. The bronzer's in the shade Palm Royale. These are called like the Polite Pops. It's basically a blush stick, and I got in like a berry color. They're super small and like great for packing, I feel like, too. But the blush stick is in the shade Milan, and they are so good. Like, they lay so smoothly on the skin, they blend well with all my other products, and they last long. And that's what else could a girl need, you know? So I have been using this combo from this brand, Polite Society, and I feel like they're a newer brand. I won't say they're brand new, but they're a newer brand at Ulta. So I would say, if you want to check out something new at Ulta, I would check out Polite Society. And then honestly, I've talked about this in my everyday makeup favorites, but the warmer that it gets, I think it's still my favorite. This Happy Skin Cushion Foundation. I think it's like called the Hydrating Cushion Foundation, and it has SPF in it. Lovely. It's been laying so well on my skin, and I don't know if it's like a mix of the skincare plus like these products are all just kind of like cohesively going together. This right here, like, I think I could just throw these in a bag, be good to go wherever I am, as a very like lightweight makeup kind of girl. Anyways, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you've made it this far, I appreciate you.